Hello everybody, we're getting ready to do lesson 10.1, pre-algebra math today. And for today's lesson, 10.1, which is triangles, you got 4 points going to your notebook guide, have that out in front of you. And then 40 points will go on to your classwork sheet, have that out in front of you as well. And name, date, period. Onliners and homeschoolers, put your due date here. And for today's bell work, vocabulary: draw a right triangle, label the hypotenuse and legs for number 1. Number 2, a scale drawing of a rectangular wall is 8 inches long and 14 inches high. The drawing has a scale of 1 inch equals 3 feet. Find the wall dimensions. So from that setup there, students, teachers, I give you about 5 minutes to do this bell work, okay? See you in 5. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Today's solution for a bell work: draw a right triangle. So here's your right angle here. Here's your hypotenuse here. And then here are your legs. Label the hypotenuse. Here's the hypotenuse and the legs. Very good. And then down here, so 1 inch equals 3 feet, and we want to go to an 8 inch equals how many feet is what it will actually be here. So we're going to cross multiply here. 1 times L equals 3 times 8. So our length here will be 24. And then 1 inch over 3 feet for 14 inches over h feet for the height will be, again, cross multiply here. 1 times h will equal 3 times 14. So our height will equal 42. So the wall's dimensions, from that scale, from up here, where it's 8 inches long and 14 inches high, the actual dimensions of the wall will be 24 feet by 42 feet. 42 feet in height. Okay, going into our first slide here on your classwork sheet about triangles. You've solved problems using right triangles. You'll solve problems involving triangles. Why? So you can find the measurements of nested tables. Okay, that's what's a nested table. So construction, here's a picture here of a house under construction. Homes are often built with sloped roofs so that they can shed rain. Such roofs are built using a series of triangular roof trusses. The trusses may include braces that help the roof bear weight, such as the weight of snow. Okay, that's interesting. Recall that you can classify a triangle by its angle measures or by its side lengths. When classified by angle measures, triangles are acute, right, obtuse, or equiangular. So when classified by side lengths, triangles are equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. So we got 3 different kinds of triangles here. Classifying a triangle by angle measures. In this diagram here, you have the measure of DBE. So here's DBE. This equals 64 degrees, this angle here. And the measure of BDE here is the measure of BDE is, well, the measure of BED. Find the measure of BDE and the measure of BED. Then classify triangle BDE by its angle measure. So we know this measure here is 64. So let x degrees represent the measure of BDE. So here's BDE. And the measure of BED is down here. So the measure, these 3 angles, when you add them up, equal 180 degrees. Okay, and this is by the sum of the angle measures is 180 for a triangle. So we know x plus 64 equals 180. So the measure of BDE equals the measure of BED. So these 2 angles here are equal to each other. So once we know that, we have 2x, we have 2x degrees plus 64 equals 180, right? So we combine terms. And once we have that set up there, we can go 2x equals 116 because we subtracted 64 from each side of the equation, and then we divide through by 2, we get x equals 58. So when we do that, now we know that the measure of BDE and the measure of BED equals 58, because all these angles, when you add them up, must equal 180. So this is 58, this is 58, and then this is a 64 there. They are acute angles, and therefore triangle BDE is an acute triangle because all the angles are under less than 90 degrees. So let's go into our guided practice here. Use the diagram from example 1, the very example that we just finished. Given that the measure of EDG, so where's EDG at? EDG, this angle here, is 38, and the measure of DEG is 38. DEG is 38. Doesn't look like it, but that's what they say. Oh, 38 degrees more than DG. Okay, so it's 38 degrees more. Find the measure of DGE and the measure of DEG. So we have a lot of D's in here. Okay, so letting x degrees represent the measure of DGE. All these angles here, when you add them up, they have to equal 180. We know we have 38. And then we have x degrees plus 38 equals plus x degrees equals 180. So again, we have 2x. And then we add these two together and we get 76 equals 180. Using the same process, we solve for x and we get x equals 52. So the measure of DGE is 52 plus 38 equals 90. So they say here the measure of DEG, right, this angle here, is a 90-degree angle by plugging this value back into the original. 52 plus 38 would be a 90. And then down here, students, this is yours, classify triangle DEG by its angle measures. So now classify this triangle, okay? Onward to our second example here. Finding unknown side lengths. So the perimeter of a scalene triangle is 65 centimeters. The length of the first side is twice the length of the second side. The length of the third side is 20 centimeters. Find the lengths of the other two sides. So here's our drawing here. Draw a triangle. We have x, 2x, and 20 centimeters over x, 2x. Let x and 2x represent unknown side lengths, which they do. Writing an equation for the perimeter of P. So we need to write an equation here to solve for x, then solve for x. Okay, so we know the perimeter is 65 here overall. So here's our equation for the formula for the perimeter. P equals 2x plus x plus 20. And do we know what P is? So we can plug that into that formula. 65 equals 2x plus x plus 20. Substitute 65 for P. And then 65 combine like terms. And then we have 45 equals 3x. Move this over here. Subtract 20 from both sides. And we get x equals 15. So we divide each side by 3 and we get x equals 15. So now the answer to the length of the second side, so this is 15, and 2x over here would be, what's 2 times 15? It would be 30. So this is a 30, this is a 15, and that's a 20. Okay, into our guided practice. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 42 meters. Find the length of each side. And then down here, students, this is yours. So we need to find the length of each side of this triangle. It's equilateral. I mean, it sounds like it would be simple to solve. P equals 3s. The perimeter is 42. We divide our perimeter by 3 sides to a triangle, and we get 14 equals s. The length of each side would be 14. Then down here, students, find the unknown side length of the triangle. Given the perimeter is 22.5 yards, Then classify the triangle by its side lengths. You should know what those symbols mean. So I'll let you do that. And we go into another example here, example 3, finding angle measures using a ratio. The ratio of the angle measures of a triangle is 1, 3, and 5, 1 to 3 to 5. Find angle measures, then classify the triangle by its angle measures. So let x degrees, 3x degrees, and 5x degrees represent the angle measures. Write an equation for the sum of the angle measures. So here we have x degrees plus 3x degrees plus 5x degrees equals 180 degrees. Sum of an angle measure is 180. We know the angle measures of the interior of a triangle is 180 degrees. So now when we add this up, x plus 3x plus 5x, that's 9x equals 180. Combine like terms, and then we solve for x and we get 20. So we divide each side by 9 and we get x equals 20. Once we know what x is, now we can plug that back into the original. Substitute 20 for x for each angle measure. 20 degrees, 3 times 20 is 60, and then 5 times 20 would be 100. The angle measures of the triangle are 20, 60, and 100, and therefore the triangle is an obtuse triangle because of this angle here, which is over 90. So let's go into a guided practice. The ratio of the angle measures of a triangle is 3, 5, and 12. Find the angle measures and classify a triangle by its angle measures. And then down here, find the value of x. Then classify a triangle by its angle measures. This is your students down here, but up here in our guided practice, to solve that, we're going to let 3x degrees, 5x degrees, and 12x degrees represent the angle measures, and they have to equal 180. When we add these up, we have 20x equals 180, so x will equal 9, and then once we have that, 3 times 9, and then 5 times 9, then 12 times 9. So 27, 45, and 108 degrees. The angle measures of the triangle are 27, 45, 108. So because of this angle measure here, we have an obtuse triangle is what this is a description of. And that is your 10.1 lesson, pre-algebra math, animated PowerPoint math video, ALO.com, for course materials or questions. Thank you very much.